Foundations in Pre-Cal 10, Lesson 1.4, Part B, starting on page 30 of your workbook. So in this lesson, we are actually combining one or more, or two or more of the exponent laws. So since we're combining laws, the more complicated what we're doing gets, the more important it is that you write steps out. The thing that we need to remember here is that this 3 applies to everything inside the brackets, okay? So that means that we have the 3 is going to be cubed and the x squared is going to be cubed. So this becomes 3 cubed is 27, and x squared to the cubed means we multiply those and it becomes x to the 6. Now, if you're not clear on how that happens, please go back and review some of the other lessons. Come see me because I want you to be really comfortable in understanding this. All right, this one, it's going to be -2 squared. And you have to put the negative inside the brackets because it's inside the brackets, so it is being squared. And then it's a squared, squared, and b cubed squared. So I've broken this up into 3 chunks and squared each piece of it. So -2 all squared, -2 times -2 is 4, and then this is a to the 4 and b to the 6. This one we're just dividing things. Oh, actually, no, we've got, anytime you have something like this, if you can do it, it's a good idea to simplify what's on top of the brackets, or sorry, on top of the fraction line, and simplify what's underneath the fraction line. That's not always the best thing to do, but it's 95% of the time it's the best way to do it. So it's a good strategy to follow. You'll get the same answer either way, but it is the easiest strategy. So this becomes x to the 8 over x cubed, which equals x to the 5th power. Okay? And then this one, I'm going to float my negative up and put it with the 2. It's just, as you've heard me say, the only difference between those two representations is which software you're using to write it, where that negative lands. But it's just easier to think of it as the -2 is being cubed, and it works out the same way. So this is going to be, oh, there's nothing that I can simplify above the brackets. There's nothing, or above the fraction. Nothing I can simplify below the fraction line. And there's nothing I can simplify inside the brackets because that's the order of attack that I would use. But there's nothing I can simplify there. So this is going to become, if I write out the whole thing, it's going to be -2a cubed over y cubed cubed. But I would just skip that step and go right to -2 cubed times a cubed over y cubed cubed. So 2 cubed is 8, and a negative cubed is going to be a negative, so that's going to be -8a cubed over y to the 9. Okay, this time, this negative is not affected by the 5, by the exponent, because it's outside the brackets, so it's going to be negative. And then we have the negative n squared to the power of 5. So this is, keep this negative, and then times negative n squared to the 5. Since it's a -2, an odd power is going to be negative again, and then this is going to be n to the 10. And then when I simplify this, this is just positive n to the power of 10. This is a great example of where I want to simplify my top line, my bottom line inside the brackets, and then apply the exponent. It just is so much easier than doing it any other way. So I get 4 times 3 is 12. And then I'm going to put my x to the 6 and my y cubed. I'm going to put them in alphabetical order just so that they match up better with what's in the denominator. And that's just one of those conventions that we tend to put things, variables in alphabetical order, if they're within the same term. Okay, so now I've simplified my numerator, I've simplified my denominator, and now I'm going to simplify the fraction that's inside the brackets. So 12 over 6 is 2, 6x to the 6 over x to the 5 is x, and then I have my y cubed doesn't get changed, and that's still all to the power of 4. So do I have some space down here? Yes, I can go down. So this is going to be um, 2 to the 4, x to the 4, y cubed to the 4, and 2 to the 4 is 16, x to the 4, y to the 3, that's a 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So there's my answer for that one. This one, it's really important that I do the top first and the bottom because I can't cancel this 16 with this 2 because that 2 is actually being cubed. So I need to clarify that first. So this is going to be 16 x to the 6, y to the 10 because I'm not squaring the 16, but I am squaring the x cubed and I am squaring the y to the 5. And then this is going to be 2 cubed, which is 8, and x squared cubed, which is x to the 6. And now when I simplify that, the x to the 6's just cancel out. 16 over 8 is 2, and y to the 10 is still there. Okay, so it's 2y to the 10. And again, I'm just, it's just follow your order of operations, take your time, and write your work down. So this is going to be 5 squared, which is 25, a squared, b to the 12. So you can see already I'm taking more shortcuts here. I'm not writing out every step. But, that's up to you. If you need to write out every step, please do write out every step. And then this is 4a squared b. Honestly, I can't imagine me not writing this step down. I can't see myself going 5 squared is 25 times 4 and going right to the next line. I just that way I personally would make too many mistakes. But everybody has their own comfort level of how many mistakes they're willing to make and how confident and competent you are at juggling things in your head. It's going to be up to you. Anyway, 25 times 4 is 100. A squared times a squared is a to the 4. And b to the 12 times b is b to the 13. And now we have some division. So you can do this using the exponent law of this one. You can do it with like subtracting the exponents, but honestly, I wouldn't. I just would write it as a fraction. It's so much easier. So this is negative a all to the 6 over negative a all to the 4. And then I'm going to simplify the top and simplify the bottom. So negative a to the 6 is actually going to be equal to a to the 6 because it's going to be positive because there's an even number of negatives. And negative a to the 4 is also going to be positive. So that's going to be a to the 4. So that's just going to be a squared. This one we've got negatives in different places. So the top is negative a to the 6. And the denominator is negative a to the 4. So it's an even exponent. So it's going to be positive. So that's just going to be a to the 4. So this one is going to be negative a squared. And this one is going to be negative a to the 7 divided by negative a cubed. It's got an odd exponent, so it's going to stay negative, and it's going to be a cubed. And then when I simplify that, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and that's going to be just positive a to the 4. All right, that is the end of lesson 2. Go do some practice and then come back or that's the end of lesson B. Go do some practice, come back and do part C.